Today we're going to talk about loneliness in the lifespan. We spent our childhood trying to fit in. Middle school prepared us for many things, mainly the lifelong experience of like, do these people really like me?
Yeah.
They want to include me?
Am I normal?
Are they only including me because they felt bad they were talking about it around me, so they felt I had to be invited?
Got the courtesy invite.
And then they got upset that I was like, yeah, sure, I'll come.
Yep.
I think that starts in middle school, and it goes across the lifespan. In our 20s, college, you're friends with people by proximity. You live next door to someone, you share a house, your sorority, a club, a class. People. It's so easy. Everyone's your age.
Saturated with everybody your age.
Absolutely. 20s hit, you graduate from college. You're in a strange town, an apartment. Maybe you go back home. That seems to be a trend lately. Mm-hmm. But all your friends have moved away to somewhere else.
Yeah.
So once again, you're in this conundrum of like, how do I find friends? Where do I make friends? Yep. And I feel like this is across every decade. In our 30s and 40s, we make friends with, usually if you have children, your kids' parents' friends. Like whoever your kids' friends are, you're friends with their parents because it's proximity again.
You're in the PTA. Maybe it's PTA people.
It could be a sports thing. Your kid plays soccer, they swim, they play volleyball. Mm-hmm. You become friends with those people because you're always around them. So once again, it's proximity. Mm-hmm. In the 50s, 60s, and 70s, loneliness isn't always about being alone. It's about realizing everyone else's plans that end at 8 o'clock and you weren't included. It's about finding ways to connect with others. It's a real common topic in therapy. Once the kids leave the desk, like, where do I find my people? What do I do? How do I make these social connections? Do I want to make these social connections? Because it's like, I feel like in my 30s, I cut the fat.
Yep.
People that I really didn't like. In my 20s, I'd go out with anyone. Mm-hmm. 30s, I was definitely like, I need to go out with people that I want to talk to, that are interesting, that I'm not making small talk with. Mm-hmm. 50s, 60s, and 70s, you get even more cutting the fat. Who do I want to spend my time with? My time is a valuable commodity. Mm-hmm. And then you freeze, and you don't know where to go, what to do, what activities should you engage in. It's a real conundrum, and it's a common issue that comes into our office. How do we find joy, build connections, and reduce feelings of loneliness?
Welcome to Fit Mind Chats. Get comfortable. Join us in our virtual therapy office and get ready to gain insight into motivation that drives behavior you don't understand. We're the owners of Fit Mind Cleveland, a mental health private practice in Cleveland, Ohio, with grounded therapists that are approachable and meet you where you're at in life, a place where you can see your strength and grow your greatness. I'm Sarah Dellavella, a licensed independent social worker.
And I'm Abby Smeedy, an independently licensed clinical counselor.
Stats time.
I love stats.
Me too.
I love them. I don't know if you guys like them, but...
Get settled in because I think you're going to like these things. So here's what I learned. Every 6 to 7 years, you are cycling through about 48% of your friend group.
That track with the decades.
Changes. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So you're never not in need of making friends. Just to normalize that. There's nothing wrong with you. Mm-hmm. This is a common experience across, and often it's not due to like a big blow up that you have with friends. Often it's just stage of life. Just what you described, right? Okay, so that's important to know. The other thing, the reason why this is so important to talk about is that in the top 5 like behaviors that increase your longevity, social connection is one. So we know, eat well, don't smoke, reduce your drinking, exercise. We know those things. Social connection is huge. And it's not just the depth of an emotional relationship. Mm-hmm. It is also like having superficial conversations, maybe at the grocery store.
Right.
With your pharmacist.
Yeah, absolutely. The randoms.
And what we have learned is that according to the American Perspective Survey, the percentage of U.S. adults report having no close friends has quadrupled to 12% since 1990, while the percentage of those with 10 or more close friends has fallen by nearly threefold. So we also know that having social connections reduces the level of cortisol in your blood. It releases dopamine and oxytocin, which are the good ones. So it reduces chronic inflammation. So it's not just a psychological thing of like combating loneliness. It is also about your health.
Inflammation is your enemy. Inflammation is terrible. It's terrible.
So it reduces your risk for premature death, heart disease, stroke, and dementia. So let's talk.
Let's do it. Okay, so when we were researching titles, one of them was Same Feeling, Different Decade. And this is what we were talking about originally.
You got it.
Many feelings we had as kids and making friends span across the different developmental phases of life. I know when I'm trying a new workout class, a new gym, I have the anxiety too, like, oh God, am I going to go in here and like no one's going to talk to me? Am I going to sit or take someone's favorite treadmill? Am I going to?
Yeah.
I apologize for that.
Getting phone calls.
Getting phone calls. You know, I don't know who would want to call me. No one ever. You know what? I need social connection. No one ever calls me.
Hilarious.
We do a podcast,
and now we have a social connection trying to form right there.
And
you just completely sent them to your voicemail.
And they know that.
That's fine.
You know what?
Decline.
I decline. Anyway, like I know when I go to a new workout class or something, I'm afraid I'm going to take someone's spot. It's just like when you were a kid and you go to the lunchroom that first day at lunch.
I don't know what you're doing.
Am I going to sit at the wrong table? Am I going to sit in someone's spot?
Yeah, it's so mad.
This anxiety and this stuff is so real. As we get older, we have to put ourselves out there more. This is a common anxiety, and it triggers that stuff when you were a kid.
It sure does. I mean, this is one of those things that we talk about all the time, actually, in therapy is, you know, we never really, like, what happened in middle school, if you were bullied, like, that stuff comes up again for adults.
Right.
Like, it's that lunch table feeling. It's that feeling of, like, I'm different, or I don't really feel like I fit in. So in therapy, we're constantly talking about that. Hey, it's time. We've got to talk about the fact that you are not 8 years old. You're not 10 years old. You are now an adult, and you get to decide who you want in your circle and who you don't.
And there are going to be people that are stuck still in that middle school phase. And middle school's tough. Like, it's just a rough year. Everyone's like, you know, no one likes how they look. No one likes how they're behaving.
Transitional.
Yeah, so everyone's kind of mean to everyone. Not to normalize that. There's people that are stuck in that. You don't have to put them in your lives.
Yeah.
You can just be like, that's not my group. That's not my group. That's not my group.
And it's so important because, look, connection, this is another title, Connection Wanted. Yeah, all ages apply.
How do we meet? And this is a huge question in my office. Like, well, hey, I want to make a connection. How do I make a connection? How do I meet people? What do I do to get these friends?
Yes. I have to. So I have a good experience in, I recently at like 45, I decided to start horseback riding. Again, I used to love it as a kid.
That's awesome.
I didn't really ride for like 40 years. I don't know. So I go back and I start taking all these lessons. I love it. Turns out I love it. So I not only found like a passion / obsession / maybe an addiction.
Yeah.
But then I found community because of it.
You found friends.
I ended up meeting a bunch of amazing people, right? They all have a similar interest to me. We love talking about horses. Like, I mean, it's like, who really wants to talk about that? No, horse people want to talk about horses. We're all a little like psycho about our horses.
And maybe you think about that. What do I like to talk about?
What do I like to talk about?
And then that's kind of a jumping point. You're like, hey, I like to talk about, I don't know, running, or I like to talk about yoga. I like to talk about horses. That gives you kind of like a little guide.
It's a bridge.
Yeah.
And then what happens from there is that you then start realizing like we have more in common than maybe just horses.
Right.
Like I enjoy talking to you. Oh, we can relate to the fact that we're in middle age and like I can't remember my words.
Right.
Like, just, all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, that's really fun.
Right. 100%.
And it's worth it. So like finding hobbies. Like
as
your kids get a little older, you get to start reconnecting to, how am I going to fill my time? They say, like, don't retire from something, retire to something.
Oh, that's good. And that's the thing, too. Like, think about when your kids were little and you had no free time.
Mm-hmm.
And all you wanted was free time to go to the coffee shop or go do something with your friends or go do a yoga class or whatever it might be. Once we get that time, we've been so conditioned not to have it that we don't know what to do with it. Then we start flailing.
Yep.
And it's okay to try something and be like, those aren't my people.
Yes. Or I went to a class and I don't really like it. Find the thing that you like, which goes back to our first podcast. Like finding your joy, finding your passion, finding some hobbies that you really enjoy doing.
100%. And this kind of goes to the next one, the social struggle bus through the lifespan. Do you have social anxiety?
Yep.
If you do, that's something we can work on and, work on putting yourself out there. Think about when you were a kid, like maybe you joined a basketball team or maybe you joined 4-H or I don't even know, like garden club, whatever it might be. You put yourself out there and you tried it and you had that same anxiety that you might have now, but you've mastered it because you can do it. You can do it and go back and try it again. And pushing yourself towards that. And it's social anxiety. You can totally work on that in therapy, but it's going to be exposure therapy.
That's the other thing that we like to talk about is so often we think people are judging us, but guess what that is? A projection. It's what we're judging ourselves about.
True story.
So a lot of like, we talk about that and that's a contributor to social anxiety, like breathing, doing the thing. If we want a paradigm shift in therapy, which is often what we're seeking, it isn't just thinking things differently. It's doing things differently so you think differently. So it's a dual approach. Let's deal with the cognitions that are really hurting you. Nobody likes me. Right. I feel like I'm different than everybody else.
They're just inviting me because I overheard them talking about it.
Yes. I'm not really good enough. They think I'm not good enough. Like those are, and that also is a very common thing with theme and anxiety, is just feeling like you're not good enough, period.
And you are. Like, the green-headed, I always say it's like a green-headed monster on your shoulder. Anxiety is. It will convince you of things that are not true. And putting yourself out there, when you first try, maybe you just pull into the parking lot of the say you're trying, I don't know, an Orange Theory or a yoga class. You just pull in the parking lot.
Yes.
Maybe you don't even sign up for class. You just pull up and then you're like, okay, I've had my fill today. You go back and maybe the next day you sign up, or the next week you sign up for a class, and you go in and you walk in.
Yep.
And you walk back. You can always walk back out. I feel like we think we're locked into something. You can, in the middle of a class that you're like, this isn't working for me. You
can always bail.
You can walk out. Like, our egos usually keep us there. It's like, I don't want to be that person. But it's okay if you're that person. And nothing's, rock solid. Nothing's set in stone.
Yeah, we like to give people it out. You don't have to. You can have boundaries around things. Like if you're really anxious, you can say, I'm going to go for 1 hour.
Yeah.
There's a social event that you're kind of interested in. Maybe there's a group of people. I had a client once. She loved to talk. She loved to speak French. She ended up finding a group of people that would go to like a coffee shop, and all they would do is speak French to each other.
That's awesome.
She loved it. She had a lot of anxiety about doing it, but that exposure piece, and then finally kind of going in. But we also put a plan together that if she starts feeling really anxious, she doesn't have to stay long. She could stay 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Just that knowledge of like 30 minutes is it. Reduced her anxiety enough to make that walk indoors. And
now there are these things called meetup groups, and I think they're brilliant.
They're brilliant.
There are so many different interests. And I know, like, that's putting yourself out there, but you can look up, hey, I want to speak French.
Yes.
You can find a meetup group
She
that speaks
found
French.
it.
Yeah. I want to go canoeing. There's a canoe meetup
There's
group.
Canoeing.
Kayaking. I mean, like,
hiking.
Hiking's a huge one. Walking.
I swear to God, my neighbor is like 89 years old. Talk about lifespan, right? Like, his wife died, unfortunately. It was really sad. But I saw him the other day, and I was like, so how are you keeping yourself busy? He's like, yep, I joined a hiking group. We hike about 3 times per week. And it's just, again, it's social connection, reduces inflammation and cortisol levels in your brain, in your blood. You're getting the exercise. Like it is, and you have both the superficial social connections, but also be willing to be vulnerable and maybe deepen the ones you already have.
Yeah.
Maybe you say things that you are struggling to say because your internal dialogue is, shut up, nobody cares. Nobody really likes you anyway.
Right.
And so maybe you don't get vulnerable and say, hey, oh my God, I got to test reality here. Like, I didn't think like I was invited because you don't really like me that much. Yeah. That's hard to do as an adult.
But you're checking the facts. That's what we do. We challenge assumptions.
And then oftentimes the person laughs and goes, oh my God, no, not at all. I just didn't, I was thoughtless.
I was worried about inviting you, thinking you'd think it was weird that I invited you.
Or
you get some of those
putting yourself out there.
For sure. And then I think like something else that might help too is like, if you want to try a new group and you got your, you got your wingman that's like, hey, I know you're not interested in doing horseback riding at all, but if you would come with me to this horse group, just the first time,
get me in there.
That's an option. Like if you have social anxiety and you need like a wingman or a person to kind of go with you, I think that's awesome too. Like I've been asked multiple times to go to different running groups or workout groups because people are like, I don't want to go myself. Sure, I'll
absolutely.
Go. I don't have time to join it, but I would love to.
Oh my God.
I'll be out.
Having a kid that's willing to go do that stuff with you is also kind of nice. Like I'd be like, Lou, you want to come with me? And then every time you go, again, like I've made some really good connections with people. Beth, I know Beth is listening. She just like responded on Facebook like she can't wait to binge listen. Thank you, Beth.
The binging.
And Hero, like they're such helpful people. And if you're open and you're curious.
Right.
And you can put aside like maybe a little bit of your ego. Like for me, I don't know shit about horses, so I have to ask a lot of questions. I ask a shit ton of questions. I am probably one of the most annoying people.
I thought you knew a lot about horses.
No, but I'm learning. But I'm learning.
And you're going to be patient with that person that's like, I don't know anything about horses.
Well, and if there's ever a person that comes in and they are more beginner than me because I'm in a barn where there are not a lot of beginners. There are a lot of like really ridiculously good riders. It's actually like, it's slightly intimidating.
That's humbling.
But they couldn't be nicer.
Yep.
So they could not be more welcoming and like kind. They're always like, you're on your own journey.
Yeah.
You're on your own journey.
That, yeah.
Everybody's always learning. Don't be embarrassed. Get out there and practice.
And that's so true. I mean, I think with everything, like being a yoga teacher, I can't do yoga. Everyone can do yoga.
Everyone can.
I mean, I'm the most tall, awkward shaped person ever. Like, I mean,
I have zero flexibility.
I have long limbs.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
It is hard to do. I'm always telling people, my yoga is not going to look like your yoga, but, you know, going in and, but like, hey, I want to deep breathe. Hey, I want to learn how to do that. Mm-hmm. Go to the class. No one's judging. I mean, when I see someone out there running or doing yoga or getting it, I'm like, good for them, man.
Good for you.
That's awesome. And I think 99% of people that work out are happy because they get endorphins. So if it's a workout class, most people are so welcoming because they just want you to be healthy. Like they are.
How about, so I've gone to your class on Fridays.
Yeah.
What I love seeing is people who are retired, they're at every class.
Every class.
They're moving. They're keeping their flexibility.
Community. They all know each other. They all golf in the summer. They go to yoga in the morning. They lunch and then they golf in the afternoon.
I mean,
I want that life.
I do too.
I want to be.
I want to live long enough to be that way.
I do too. I want to. Yeah, and that's true. Golf leagues, tennis leagues. In the summertime, there's so many things.
Yes.
And any golf league I've ever been in, like there's usually a threesome that needs a fourth.
Oh, always.
So if you want to try that, I mean, that's put yourself out there. But those are options too. If there's a sport you're interested in, try it. Right. There's master swimming. There's master swimming out of Lakewood if you're in the Cleveland area. There's all kinds of pickleball.
Oh, yeah. Pickleball's huge now.
Yeah. If you're thinking, like, oh, hey. And I mean, one of my friends actually asked me, hey, we need a fourth person. Would you go? And I'm like, oh, I've never played. I don't play tennis. I don't play pickleball. She's like, no, you're fine. I have to be very competitive. I might have been a little too competitive for the pickleball, but it was a blast. It was so fun. But I had that anxiety, like, I don't know how to play.
I know.
Oh my God, what if we get in there and I'm like this freak that's ruining everyone's game? Not like that at all.
No.
90% of the time, it's
90% of the time.
Yeah, it's not.
I couldn't agree.
Nor are you being asked to go into some hyper competitive situation. In fact, out of the four people, I was probably the most competitive. I think I was like John McEnroe. Like they're like, you need to slow your roll. The one guy did ask me if I would play on his team if he needed a sub because he said that he was in a more intense team.
Yeah.
I was like, sure. He hasn't called me yet, though, so maybe he was just being kind.
And that goes with the join a club, they said. Honestly, join a club.
Join a club. But then, like, what club? Like, in my office, I'm like, hey, join a club. They're like, what club? What club am I joining?
So you have to be willing to explore. I always say it's a great problem to have. When you say, I don't know what I like, one thing. Okay, what did you like to do as a kid? Like, did you like singing? Did you like dancing? Did you like horseback riding? Yeah. Did you like athletics? Do you like sewing, knitting? Do you like creative arts? Like, there's tons of things out there. Mm-hmm. The French. Do you like a foreign language?
People
do you like
foreign
movies?
Language. They're like horse people. They like to get together and talk in their language.
You have to practice it.
Yeah.
So like we're talking a lot about sports, but I guess just don't forget that there's other things. You can take a class.
Oh, yeah.
Like I have a desire to learn something.
When I was pregnant with my son, I took oil painting at the Cleveland Art Museum. I still think back on that fondly. Yes. Every Friday night I would go, and I felt like some big, like, Renaissance painter. So I would go through the art gallery, I'd put my stool down, have my easel, and paint things. And my paintings, I mean, they're not hanging in my house or anything, but I remember that time as like, wow, that was so cool and such a fun experience. And I was super anxious about going in there. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be this unartistic person taking a painting class. It wasn't like that at all. Most people that are into their hobbies, especially horse people, yogis, runners, artists, they're just so happy other people are interested.
They are.
And they're keeping the thing alive that
they share that interest, which is a really great thing.
So maybe reframe in your head. I'm big on reframing. When you do think, maybe it's a thought in your head, no, I can't do that. But you think about it, say, okay, maybe it's a running club. I do because I'm a runner and I get super anxious going in. What if they're faster? What if I'm slow? What if I'm, But like my reframe is like, how lucky am I that I have this time that I'm able to join this group and try it out?
I agree.
And like if it's knitting, if it's art, or if it's painting, like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to paint.
Yes. Maybe you're just like, you want to learn something new. Community college, go to your community centers.
Yeah.
For seniors, it's like, are there senior centers for you?
The seniors have a ton of stuff. I am going to be in that senior center. They have a wonderful lunch usually. And they also offer like just all kinds of different clubs and different things to do.
Classes.
Classes. The rec centers in your area. Like
libraries.
Rec offers everything. What our library is insane.
It's insane. I mean, honestly, look around for the resources. Go online. There is so much. I mean, so the upside and downside of our like social media and internet is that it does limit are actual face-to-face connections.
Right.
That is what we are finding again in research.
Right.
Because teens specifically, are spending about 9 hours a day on their screen.
I think it's worth saying too, like how the first statistics that were out there about how we're decreasing in our social connections.
Yeah.
We're communicating, and I think we need to do a whole other podcast on this. The way we communicate today is completely different than how we communicated when we were growing up in our teens, our 20s, our 30s. Like, I think back to, like, if I wanted to go to someone's house and if I wanted to have a private conversation, I did knock on their front door saying, hey, is Sarah home? And she would come outside, or I would go in, depending on, like the parents' philosophy on that. And I would have a conversation face to face with them.
Yes.
If I wanted to have that on the phone, I would have to do it in my kitchen, because I was not allowed to have a phone. Just like you can't take your cell phones in your room, I was allowed to have a cord phone in my bedroom. So I would have to visually see that person. In today's world, and we'd be immediately interacting. In today's world, we can have delays in it. It doesn't have to be immediate response.
No. It's via text in a two-dimensional
place. No, we don't know how the person's tone is. You know how many text messages get brought in my office? They're like, did you see what they texted? I'm like, read that to me. Yeah. And they'll read it in this snarky tone. Like, how do you know that's the snarky tone?
Yeah, Key and Peele did like one of the most funny skits on it, about one guy's like, just like, yeah, whatever. And the other guy's like, whatever. Because that's how he's reading it. Yeah. That is the truth. So online is actually limiting in the fact that we are not, when we talk to each other face to face, again, we increase feelings like dopamine. Yeah. So if we are just, for 40% of Americans now are only online friendships. I mean, that's a massive situation as far as your longevity is concerned, your overall health and mental well-being. Like, I hope that we do see a shift from screens and like inside to people connecting with nature, getting out in clubs, going face to face. Because I think there's got to be a backlash at some point too. Oh, the fact that screens are like dominating.
We're gonna see it with this generation coming up. The first iPad kids, we're gonna see it coming out there. But I do think like the interactions and like us adjusting, our age group, our generations adjusting to the new way of communicating. 'Cause I think like when someone leaves you unread, our jobs, like you're gonna be unread probably for 6 hours, because like when it's like I can't in the middle of a session be like, you know what? Yeah, we're playing a girls' dinner. I'm gonna have to wait in. You can't do that. So it might be, and some people, they left me, they're not interested, they don't want to go, and all of a sudden you're off the text thread. Yeah, sure. But like we just have to learn how we're gonna communicate and not make assumptions.
Another therapeutic approach.
Right. And I think we need a whole other podcast on the different ways we communicate now, because it is just completely different, and it causes so much anxiety and stress, because I feel like we assume so much, like with the text messaging. Every time someone, and then I said, and then they said, and then I said, and they're getting escalated. It's like, what if they're not saying it like that?
Yeah. What if they're not? They're like, that's the hard part. We don't see people's facial expressions. We don't see their body language. We are not getting some of the dopamine, oxytocin hits that we used to
at all.
And cortisol is a real problem.
It is a real problem. And I also think too, like, I mean, I've been told I'm a short emailer. Like, I sound very short.
Yes, you are. You are 100%.
Like, I just answer the question.
It's just your business.
It is. I mean, I feel bad about it.
And that's fine. But listen, here's the thing: is that it's good to like check in, and if someone knows that, they're not going to assume that you're being rude or nasty.
I'm like, oh, that was a short.
Yeah, you're just to the point, and writing is not necessarily your strong point.
It's not. If you hear me, if you get a text or email from me where I'm like, I'm concerned today. Like, it's
not you. You've been kidnapped. Someone has hacked you.
Someone's hacked me. Because usually I'm like, what's going on? This is what I got going, and
it's not you.
And I don't ever put K. I guess that's bad. And then that's our generation. How do we know?
KK.
Oh, okay, an O and a K, and just a K. I don't know.
I don't either. There's a lot of nuances that we'd have to like deconstruct.
I don't get offended.
All right, guys. So thank you so much again for joining Fit Mind Chats.
We hope this helps. Hopes to give you some ideas. And if it doesn't, like, go to your local library. Check out what's there. You can just look at the list. Doesn't mean you have to commit to anything.
Be brave.
Be brave, yeah.
Yes.
Well, we'll see you next Monday for another session. If you have any questions or a topic you want covered, follow us on Facebook at Fit Mind Cleveland, or message us.
If you would like to seek out therapy services, go to our website at fitmindcleveland.com and contact us. If you'd please leave us a rating or a review and share our podcast with your family, friends, enemies, anybody that needs it. We want to bring mental health access to all the people that can benefit.
Have a good week, guys.
Bye.